Alright, we're getting ready for STAAR, and here we have TEK A.3D, which is about graphing inequalities. There are two types of graphing of inequalities that the STAAR test does. There's problems that are not in slope-intercept form, and there are problems that are in slope-intercept form. Let's start with the easier ones, the ones that are in slope-intercept form. Y is equal to mx. If there's no y-intercept listed, what does that mean? That means it's plus 0. Otherwise, it would have to be written there if it was plus 1 or whatever. So we're looking for a y-intercept of 0. A doesn't have that. It's out. C has that. B has that. D does not have that. It's out. We know y equals mx plus b. The y-intercept is at the end, and the coefficient of the x is slope. In this case, the slope is -4. And what is the number underneath that? Well, every whole number has a 1 underneath it. So the rise over the run, it's down 4, right 1, down 4, right 1. So from the options that remain, we have B and C, down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1, that works. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1, that works. So now it's just left to the inequality. So we're examining this. We read it. Y is less than. The small side of the inequality is touching the Y, so it's less than, and it has the equal to symbol underneath it, so it's or equal to. So, just for practice, if it looked like this, that would be y is greater than, and that would be because the big side of the inequality is touching the y. So that would be y is greater than or equal to. This would be y is less than and no equal to. The small side is touching the y. Alright, enough practice on that. So it says y is less than, so we have our line. Less than would be whatever's below the line, this shading. So that graph matches. On this line, here's the line, it's y is less than. That is not the correct side that's shaded on B. The answer has to be C. But we also, just to remind ourselves, the equal to symbol means it needs to be a solid line, which that one is. So on B, it also wouldn't have worked because of the line is dashed line, as if it was just less than, or in this graph's case, greater than. Alright, so the answer is C. Let's do another y equals mx plus b slope-intercept form. We have y equals mx plus b. What's the y-intercept? 4. So we put a dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then our slope is 1/3. It's positive, so it goes up 1, right 1, 2, 3. Put a dot. Up 1, right 3. Up 1, right 3. And then we look at the inequality. It's y is greater than. The large side is there, so we know above the line is going to end up being shaded, and it's got an or equal to, so it's a solid line. That's a pretty poor line. It's a solid line. Now we take a look at the points. We have to identify which of these points is in the solution set. So we'll graph the first one, -6, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 1. Alright, I can tell that my line, which is drawn pretty poorly, I need to go back and make it more exact so I can see if that is on the line exactly. So let's continue the pattern. It was up 1 over 3, so to reverse it and go in the other direction, I need to go down 1, left 3, 1, 2, 3, dot. Down 1, left 1, 2, 3, dot. Down 1, left 1, 2, 3, dot. Alright, so now, drawing my line exactly through the dots, I can see that this red dot that we're putting here for -6, 1, over 6, up 1, is not in the shaded region, so that's not an answer choice. B, -1, 6, back 1, up 6, that most definitely is in the shaded region. over 6 down 1 is not, and then 1 negative 6 is definitely not. The answer is B. All right, this one, as are the other ones, are in standard form, so we can start working through standard form. Remember I said the STAAR asks it in two different ways, one where it gives it in slope-intercept form, one in standard form. The only difference is we need to turn this into slope-intercept form so that we know what it looks like to graph it. So let's do that. For slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, we need the y to be at the front, the x to be at the end with the regular numbers. So let's bring this y over. Minus 6y minus 6y. It's gone, so we have negative 6y minus 4x less than or equal to, the inequality stays, and then it's negative 54 on this side. We want to get the 4x to the other side, so we'll go plus 4x plus 4x. We're left with negative 6y is less than or equal to 4x minus 54. You can't combine a variable number and a regular number. And then the last step, we want to get the coefficient away from the y. So we'll divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6. And at this point, it's crucial that you remember when you divide by a negative number across the inequality, it flips the sign. So that now we're left on the left with y, and it's now greater than or equal to. Then we divide 4 by negative 6. A positive divided by a negative is negative, and 4 over 6 reduces to 2/3, and the x is still there. And then we divide negative 54 divided by negative 6 gives us a positive 9. So now we can check our y-intercepts for the graphs. That's at 9, 9, 9, 9. So we don't eliminate anything on the y-intercept. Now we check the slope. It's negative 2/3. That's down to right 3. That's okay. Down to right 3. So C is out. Down to right 3. That one's fine. Down to right 3. D is out. And so now we go to the inequality. It's y is greater than. The big side of the inequality is touching the y. Y is greater than, so it should be shaded above. B is out because of that point. And then we can also say because it says or equal to, it should be a solid line. A is the answer. All right, we'll go to another standard form question. We want to get the y on its own. We always get rid of this x part first. Minus 2x, minus 2x. Negative 5, y is equal to negative 2x plus 10. Divide by the coefficient. Divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. Y is equal to a negative 2 divided by a negative 5. Cancel the negatives, and it's 2/5 x. Positive 10 divided by negative 5 is negative 2. Now, you might have thought we didn't have to do this part and solve for it because it already had it graphed, which is true in one aspect. The y-intercept is there, it already had it, and the slope is up 2/5. But we didn't know which way that inequality sign would be facing here. Would it be shaded above or would it be shaded below? And we need to know that so that we can find the point that's in the solution set. So we did the work up here. Could have done it down here underneath this part, but let's recreate it. Would we have to flip the symbol? When we divided, did we divide by a negative number? They said the symbol's facing this way, so I'm just going to write the symbol here and write the symbol here. When we divided, did we divide by a negative number? Yes. So should this symbol have flipped? Yes. So it's not going to be facing the way it was originally. It's going to be facing the other way. So it's y is, what side is facing the y? The small side. So it's y is less than. Everything below should be shaded, and it's or equal to, so it should be a solid line. So that means if any of these points are on the line, it's okay. That is part of the solution set. All right, let's check the points. 0, 5, 0, up 5. That's not in the solution set. 5, 0. Over 5, 0. That is on the line, which is okay. It can be in the solution set. That's our answer. Negative 2, 5 was definitely not. And negative 5, 2 is definitely not. All right. Last questions. There's one more right there in y equals mx plus b form. We'll get that in a second. We got to get this x to the other side. Minus 0.5x minus 0.5x. This is the same type of problem where the inequality is here. We can go ahead and put it there. The x's are gone. Negative 2y is greater than or equal to negative 0.5x plus 3. Divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. Y. And when we divide by a negative, it flips the inequality. Y is less than or equal to. And then we divide this way. If you're decent with fractions, that's no problem for you. If you're not, you need to get your calculator and do negative 0.5 divided by negative 2. You know the negatives are going to cancel and make it positive. And it is positive 0.25x, and then 3 over negative 2 does not change, so it's negative 3 over 2. It doesn't reduce to a whole number, I should say. Now, your knowledge of fractions is going to make this easy. What would this be as a slope? We like rise over run, so we need to have that in a fraction form. Less than or equal to, you should think of quarters. That's 1/4. And then 3 halves you should be able to do, and if not, you could do it in the calculator and hit Control Enter. But that's 1.5, 1.5 negative. All right, so it's y is less than everything below the line or equal to, so it's a solid line. It can be on the line. So let's check the points. Negative 2.5, negative 2.5, that's not. Positive 2, 1, that's not. Positive 2, negative 1 is on the line. That is okay because it's or equal to. Negative 2, negative 0.5 is not. Alright, this one will be easy because it's in y equals mx plus b slope-intercept form. We look at negative 2, negative 2, negative 2, negative 2. Those all check out. Now we do the slope, down 7 over 2. Down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 2. That one's fine. And it looks like all of them are going to be down 7 over 2. So now the only difference that we'll look for is its y is greater than. So it should be shaded above. A is not. Should be shaded above. C is not. Shaded above. Shaded above. B and D both work. Since it is or equal to, that means it should be a solid line. B is. D is not. Alright, last problem. We have to remove it from standard form. Plus 2x plus 2x. 7y is less than or equal to 2x plus 112. Divide by 7, divide by 7. Y is less than or equal to 2/7 x. And then 112 divided by 7 is equal to 16. And we check the y-intercept, 16. That checks out, that checks out, that checks out, that checks out. And then we check the slope, up 2 over 7, up 2 over 7, A is not the answer. Up 2 over 7. That works. Up 2 over 7. That works. D is not the answer. You can tell because it's also going down just like A was. And then we look at our inequality. It's less than, the small side is touching the y, less than or equal to. So it should be shaded below. Should be shaded below. B is not. And the equal to part makes it a solid line. C is the answer. All right. That's TEK 8.3D.